So I'm a neuropsychologist and a lover of wave surfing. And in fact, I love surfing so much that for the last 2 years, I traveled along the coast of Europe and Morocco to surf waves there. And I'm curious if you want to help me start my story today. And for that, I need a wave. Do you know how it goes? Okay, from left to right and go! Hey! So you are the audience that I can surf on this evening. Thank you so much. And it brings me right back in front of the ocean. The sun is shining, blue skies, and I see some beautiful waves are rolling in, about my size, plus someone on top of me. And I take my board, I run to the ocean, and start paddling out to what you call the line up, and where you can start catching the waves. So I'm on my board in the ocean, and I see a pretty big wave coming behind me. And I start paddling, and I jump on my board, last moment, and I race across the face of the wave. And for those of you who surf, it's an amazing feeling. Now I repeat this for a couple of hours, and at some point I jump off the wave pretty far out, and I want to paddle back, but I see these really big waves coming in, so I have to be fast, because I don't want to be crushed by the waves. So I paddle, and I'm able to get over the first wave, and the second wave even bigger, and I barely get over it, and the third one even bigger, even more far away. And I'm like, okay, I'm screwed, I'm never gonna get over this. But I try, paddle, get on top, I get sucked back and smash right into the ocean. I get the full force of water, I'm exhausted, I have no breath anymore, and no way that I can swim up again. But funnily enough, I didn't panic. I've gained the experience and the confidence that I can handle these type of waves. I know that I just have to relax, let the current take me, and that within 10 seconds or so, I can take a fresh breath of air again. But this is not always the case. There's people that are called big wave surfers. And they surf waves of like 6 meters until now the unofficial record of 30 meters. That's crazy. That's surfing a 10-story high building. And if you wipe out, or aka fall off such a wave, then your level of confidence, experience, and relaxation training only gets you that far. You know, these people get completely twisted around, don't know what's up or down anymore, and worst case scenario, they run out of breath. You know, what to do then? Now, in my life on land, I have experienced these monster waves. Situations that felt so insanely overwhelming that it resulted in what you call a panic attack. It's like a wave of stress literally rising within myself. Like my heart starts beating faster, start hyperventilating, vision narrows. You want to run away from the feeling, but it's within myself, so there's nowhere to go. And my mind always tricks me that it thinks it stays forever like that, or you think that you're dying. Now this is quite an extreme case, which some of you might recognize. But I guess also we all know the feeling of anxiety, fear, of nervousness to a certain extent. Now what happens in the brain whenever we perceive danger is that our emotional center, specifically the amygdala, like in the middle of our brain, it sends a signal to our hypothalamus, which is our hormone control center, to start producing stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol to make our body ready to fight or flight or like freeze in some situations. And normally when the danger goes away, you calm down, and it's specifically the prefrontal cortex, important for executive functioning, aka the CEO of our brain, tells the amygdala to get your stuff together, it's fine, danger's away. But when the wave is so big that it still perceives danger, it literally causes our brain to be flooded, and our body to be flooded with these stress hormones. And it makes us feel completely overwhelmed and stuck. It's what happens when we black out for an exam or a speaker talk. Yeah? Or when we lose the love of our life, or when our to-do list is so big that we don't know where to start anymore. Now I'm curious, who of you recognizes the feeling of being overwhelmed and anxious? A lot of you. And who of you finds it difficult to ask for help when you are stuck? Also, a lot of you. And it makes sense, because it's exactly when you need it most that it's most difficult to reach out for help. And I found that is because of 2 main reasons. One, asking for help feels vulnerable. And we don't like to be vulnerable when we're afraid because we want to protect ourselves. We don't want to be a burden, we're afraid to be rejected, or we think we have to carry all the problems ourselves. And in my work as a psychologist, I see the same with many clients. The fear to reach out to their partner, their family, and their friends, which might be an issue because the longer you hold on to your problems, the heavier they become, and the problem might just become bigger. And it's really okay to be afraid and still be brave enough to ask for help. Because to speak with the wisdom of Ned Stark from Game of Thrones, you can only be brave when you're afraid. Now, the second reason why it's so tricky to ask for help while you're in distress is that our rational, thinking CEO brain is being hijacked by fear. So literally, the brain areas that are needed to ask for help in any meaningful way are being held hostage. So finding the right words or knowing where to start is impossible and completely overwhelming. Now, but tackling this is like tackling any other big task. You have to split it into smaller tasks, and especially make the first step so small that you can take it to set the rest in motion. Now, for myself, I found a great way to make that first step as small as possible, so I can still do it even while my brain is being hijacked by emotions. And I call it the power of the Purple Heart. Thank you. So how it works is the same as an inflatable life vest they use in big wave surfing. So whenever these surfers get smashed by such a monstrous wave that they cannot get up on time anymore, they pull on their inflatable vest, they go up, and a jet ski will be there to take them out of the water. And how I did it is that I went to my friends and family, and I asked them like, hey, if I ever get stuck in my own darkness and I'm not able to get out and need help, may I reach out to you by means of sending a Purple Heart, meaning I need help? I'm currently unable to ask this in any meaningful way. Please reach out. And I remember a time I worked myself into a burnout, my startup just failed, my relationship just ended, and I was just completely overwhelmed and massively panicky. And I needed some medicine to calm down, actually. So I got some medicine from the doctor and went to the store to get some water to take it, but I completely froze up in front of the store because I was just too anxious to get in. I couldn't do it, so I had no idea what to do. So I took my phone, sent a Purple Heart to my mom, and she called like, hey, what's up? I said, yo, I'm in front of the store, I need to get some water, I just cannot get in, please guide me. So while having her on the phone, we got through the aisle, took some water, she reminded me to pay for my water instead of running away with it, and outside took some medicine and could chill a bit in the park and calm down. Or more recent and a bit smaller is that also while preparing for this TED Talk, my speaker coach, Mark, he knew that whenever I would send a Purple Heart, that I would be stuck and needed help. So thanks again for your help, Mark. And the power of this Purple Heart lies in communicating its symbol with someone you trust. By making this agreement with someone, it already lowers the barrier to ask for help, so it makes it easier anyway. And even more so, it helps us to relax whenever a wave takes us. So that because we know that we can pull on our inflatable vest and be helped if needed. And if I would ask you anything to do after this talk, it is to go to your friends and make the agreement that if someone is stuck, if someone needs help, that you can send that Purple Heart. Because sometimes someone is in dire need of help without us even knowing it. And for the future of mental health, we need to be there for each other. So put on your inflatable vest, give one to a friend, enjoy the waves of life, and send out a Purple Heart if you need to get out of rough water. Thank you.